My name's Ace Got Talk. I'm a TV and radio presenter. I'm an urban motivational speaker. I'm also the winner of the World Motivational Speaker Competition 2019. Welcome to the Love Zone. Shout out to everybody at MediaNet TV. Joining me, making her debut appearance in the studio, I'm really excited to be having with me an inspirational, motivational speaker, a female empowerer. This young lady has flown around the world, inspiring women to be more than the sum of their current circumstances. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing to MediaNet TV, the Love Zone, Yvonne Michèle.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Ace. I'm really privileged to be here, and what a journey. What a journey we've had from being interviewed on your show and now here presenting this amazing show, The Love Zone. So, Ace, on my days, I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited as well. And I just want to thank all the listeners that have joined in. So many women have contacted me all week saying to me, I'm so excited. I'm so excited about the show. So shout out to everybody that's been following me and Michèle's journey, Ace Got Talk and Fury Show. We done a 3-part series last week where we started to speak about the language of love, and it just snowballed and took on a life of its own. Do you just want to tell the listeners a little bit about that, Michèle?
Sure. I mean, as we went through the languages of love, we started off with words of affirmation. So there are 5 main, well, let me do this again. There are 6. There used to be 5 main languages of love, but now there is 6. So we started off with words of affirmation. And basically it means that the person who is in receiving the love likes powerful words of affirmation. Things like, you look lovely today, or I really love you, and those kinds of things. And that helps to build them, and that makes them know that their partner loves them. It's what they need to make them feel good. So love languages, it's not about, when we're thinking about love languages, I want us to think about the language of our partner, what the language is that they need to receive. It's very important for us to know our love language, but it's also equally important to know what your partner's love language is. So we went with words of affirmation was the first one.
Absolutely, because you can fancy somebody and be sexually attracted to that person, and there could be chemistry there, but it doesn't necessarily mean you speak the same language when it comes to love. And I think when we talk about love language, we're talking about how we communicate our feelings and our affections.
Absolutely.
So number 1 is affirmations.
Number 1, affirmations. Number 2 is gifts.
Gifts.
Yeah. Now this one, everyone thinks, oh, that if it's a woman, she's money grabbing. She just wants things, you know. But gifts is more about, if you see something that reminds you of the person, that you pick it up. You say, oh, babes, I saw this, it reminded me of you. Or it could just be that for no reason at all, you just buy your partner a bouquet of flowers, or you see something like an aftershave, maybe like, I'm not going to endorse any aftershave, I'm going to say, but maybe like Million, because one of my clients, her partner likes Million. Yeah. And so she bought him that for no reason, and he was just over the moon. Yeah. And so the way that he reciprocates that is in the way that she would need it. So it's all about us knowing what our partner's language is to get on better.
Brilliant. And I think we covered this over the live TV link-ups, but the love language, it's not just about sexual relationships.
Oh, no.
That the language of love, these 5/6 points that we're going to cover, you could take this information and you can transfer it into any different area of life where you got to communicate with people, right?
Absolutely. The language of love is about language. It's about relationship. So I don't want us to kind of get sidetracked into romantic relationships. This can work with your children, your siblings, whoever that you're close to. Even really at work, you can still find out how to get around your boss if you know the way that they like to be communicated to. Right? That's the point. It's all about communication. Communication is the key to this. Key to successful relationship, friendships, partnerships.
Definitely, but not just communication, because we're communicating right now, but it's communicating in a way that's understood. Because sometimes, and this is what we go back to the language of love is, especially in relationships, I've fallen victim to this myself, unfortunately, is that you can be in a relationship with someone and they can be communicating how they feel, but the other person's not necessarily reciprocating the information.
Yeah.
So step one is communication, but step one is being able to translate that information. And I can honestly say, since me and you started having these conversations about language of love, I know so many people that is taking this model and applying it to their own relationships and understanding their partners better.
Absolutely. I mean, I had one client come and say, I don't believe in this. I don't believe in it. And I said, okay, that's fine, because this is not about belief. This is about language.
That's right.
You know, it's not about whether you believe it works or not. It's about the language and whether or not you want to enhance the relationship that you have with the person that you're with. And he then said, and then I gave him a synopsis and I gave him an example of another client and how well they're doing. And then he said, okay, where can I take the test? You know? And it was as quick as that. Where can I take the test? And we will leave a link for you to do a test. It will be in the link, in the YouTube link, so you can do your own test, your own language of love.
Brilliant. And it's funny you mentioned the test, because last week I looked at the languages and it was funny, a few women asked me, they go, Ace, what's your language of love? What's your language of love? And just me looking at myself, honestly, I said, I'm definitely quality time.
Oh, you're revealing them. We might as well get number three.
I'm QT, right? I'm quality time. And then I done the test after examining myself, and it came out I was QT, quality time. So the test is quite accurate. And a few of my female friends, I pinged it round to them. I was like, do this. And it was actually quite accurate in regards to the results. So yeah, we're going to leave a link in the comments below. And if anyone wants to try the test out for themselves, tell us your results. Tell us what you think. You know? So number one, language of love is affirmations. And by the way, over the next 6 weeks, we're gonna drill down into these a lot more. Today is an overview, because where we left the telephone link ups was on number 5 going on to 6. So those that have been following the journey, they're really eager to hear what number 6 is today. So, but we will go back over. So number 1 is affirmations, and number 2 is gifts. Now, Ace got talk. You know me, I'm unscripted. None of this is scripted.
None.
I'm a freestyler. So what I'm about to do right now, the sister doesn't know that I'm about to do it. Right? Get down on one knee. Right? Love language. Right. That's a bit early, eh? Right. In love language, you call that keen. But I will do, and we'll talk about gifts, right? And I believe in starting as we meet to God. So I've got you a little gift.
Oh, bless you.
And I even tried to understand your language. Remember last night I called you, I was like, you like chocolates? you eat chocolates? Like,
and I was like, no,
I'm not a chocolate girl. But you did tell me that you like Prosecco. So I got you a little bottle of Prosecco.
Thank you.
There you go, my darling.
Thank you so much. It's one of my favorites, guys.
There you go. So love languages, gifts. Now put it up there. Let me see the thing. I know we don't want to endorse no brands.
Well, do you know what? If you'd like us to endorse you, do contact us. Okay. This is a serious thing.
Brilliant. So number 3, love languages, number 3.
Well, you mentioned QT.
QT, quality time.
Quality time.
Yes.
Now, for me, this is a big one. There's 2 in there, major ones, I think. Quality time is one of those. And you'll find that many people, I actually learned about my daughter. We were looking at the languages of love because I've been doing it with everybody. And, I was saying to my daughter, what is your language of love? And we were trying to figure it out. She did the test, and quality time is. And now I understand, because I'm a busy mum and I do lots of things. Sometimes I get engrossed in business and stuff that I do because I'm a businesswoman. And so I might be on my phone and she might be asking me a question. So for her, it's put my phone down, give her my undivided attention. And then she's happy. Then she knows that I'm showing her the love language that she needs to feel appreciated, to feel that she's heard, to feel that she's adored, to feel that she's loved. So again, it's not just about partnerships. It is about, romantic partnerships. It is about the language of love with everybody that you're in close proximity with. So for my daughter, quality time, like yourself, is so important. So the next one.
Number 4.
Oh, yes. Another big one. And that one is the oh my gosh.
Touch.
No, that's
number 5.
That's number 5.
We've got, so again, affirmations,
gifts, quality time, and oh my God, I can't believe. You see, this is live TV. This is what happens, right?
Let's go to 5, which is touch.
Yes.
Tell us about touch.
Touch. Now, touch is the one that I have most men talk about. I don't know why, but most men say that this is the language they want to receive. But if you are with somebody who their touch is their main language, that means that just a pat, it's not about a sexual act. It's not. It's just about that touch, that connection.
Yeah. That some people are quite clingy. Like if you're on the sofa, they want to be, under your arm or leaning on you, or they're quite touchy in that way. Yeah. Not necessarily really sexualizing touch, but just clingy, touchy, close to you, holding hands, that kind of thing. Yeah,
absolutely. So the touch, and it is really important to stress that, because some people have said in the past that, oh, he's needy, he's or he's always touching, I can't get anything done because he's touching, or she's touching, and I just want to do what I need to do. So it's really important that those of you who are with partners who do like touch, it's really important that you understand, because to that person, if you are always saying, oh, I've just got this to do, and can you not touch me? And if you watch my body language, I'm not even, the person's over here, so I'm pushing that person away. I'm not even engaging with that person. They feel rejected.
But once again, it goes back to what we said about the love languages, is that if you're, say, man and woman, woman and man, and one person is very touchy and the other person isn't, when you start to understand that the other person's love language, and you just understand that they're not a touchy person. Some people just like them space. Some people just like, if they're sitting, they just want their space. They don't want no one leaning on them. And so, but by understanding the other person's language, it makes you then, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't feel rejected. Maybe this person is just not very touchy-feely.
Yes. It can work though, but what I would suggest is that learning that language is to say, okay, my language is this, and I don't really like the touchy-feely, but I do like this. So with each partner, it's one hand wash the other.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you are then in the position where you're giving, they're taking, and then they're giving, and you're taking.
Definitely.
And that's how we balance or create harmony.
100%.
In a relationship.
100%.
And so for me, touch is, for a lot of clients, touch is an awkward one, because it can be seen as, so once you start having that conversation, then you can then start to elaborate and then start to get together and learn how each other love.
Brilliant. Number 4, acts of service.
Oh yes, the big one.
The big one. Because that can be interpreted in so many different ways, and it also can be taken for granted.
It can.
So just break down what acts of service looks like.
So acts of service is a person who is a show me person. So let me be honest. I am an acts of service person. So that means that I would rather you help me, show me you love me. Don't tell me And I know that there are many of you listening thinking, yeah, I'm like that. Don't tell me that you love me. Words of affirmation is not working for me. I want you to show me that you love me. Show me that you love me by setting a bath for me. If you know I'm coming in from work, and I work hard, I'm a grafter. So you know I'm coming in from work, just put a little bubbles in the bath and, oh, babes, as you walk through the door, oh, babes, your bath set. And it's like, oh, man. And that instantly sets a completely different tone to the evening. Or it might be the dishes are washed, the bins put out. These things are like, people might be saying, but they should be doing that anyway. They're normal things. But when you see the person that you love doing things, get up and help, because then that person is looking at you thinking, look at my babes, man. He's doing this to help me. And that goes a long way. So acts of service, I say, is a big one. It is really a big one. And there are some people, acts of service doesn't really mean anything. But if you do the act and do it for that person, see what results you get. See how your relationship goes better. Give it a try. So acts of service.
Absolutely brilliant. So we have just done a quick overview, and we will be drilling down into those over the next couple of weeks of the main 5 love languages. So we've got affirmations, we've got gifts, we've got quality time, we've got acts of service, and we've also got touchy-feely. So those are the languages that we have identified, that a lot of people, even though you could be in relationships for years, you could be married for 10 years, kids, but you sometimes you might not have actually stopped to identify each other's love language.
In most case scenarios, that's what happens.
And identify if do you speak the same love language? And if you don't, what does that look like? I've often said, prior to love languages, I've often said that if before someone should get married, they should have relationship counseling. And love languages is just kind of marinated that conversation for me, because I always said people, they fall in love with each other, they're attracted to each other, but there's some questions there's conversations they never ask. Like, example, I'm vegetarian and you eat meat, and I don't want my kids eating meat. We've never had that conversation. I've seen real life situations like that where people have been together 4 or 5 years, and as soon as they got having a baby, there's a big problem, because they never actually communicate how we're going to raise this child. And love languages is the same, that
it's part of it.
People don't understand each other's love languages. I know I spent a lot of time last week looking back at some of my previous relationships and looking back at my love languages and the way I communicate my love, and how my ex-partners, how they communicate love. And I could quickly identify that the relationship was at odds at times, not because we didn't love each other, not because we didn't care for each other, just that we communicated love completely differently. And I might have been communicating love, but my girlfriend wasn't receiving that. She didn't realize, well, this is how, because you made me laugh earlier when you said, I smiled, you see, when you said to me, affirmations ain't doing it for me, yeah. Show me. And Ace got taught. Sometimes I've gone hard on the affirmations. You know what I mean?
Didn't work though, did it?
No, the mark, sweetie. No, but show me. So I can relate. I can relate to that. So do you want to add anything to that before we?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny that you say that, because in every relationship, we go through highs and lows. And if you don't know, like you would just say, if you don't know, you just don't know.
Yeah.
So how many of you out there listening have been in a situation where, your partner's coming to you with one thing, but actually in your mind, you're having a completely different conversation and thinking, why can't he be like this? Why can't he speak like that? Why can't he do that? But actually, it's down to you to speak that, to communicate. This is how I want you to love me. And there's nothing wrong with that. This is how I want you to love me. That is the most important thing, I think, that you be yourself.
Yeah.
So, I see what you said and how your relationships have gone in the past. And even myself, where I haven't felt, I haven't given myself permission to say, actually, you're very kind with words. It's very, very nice of you to say so. but actually that's not doing nothing for me. You get me?
Yeah.
Show me, show me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, no, and I love that. I'm laughing at myself because I'm thinking it's got dark.
Yeah.
So if it was a talking thing, we would have win. But I want to highlight this point one more time because I'm a man that's been, I fell victim to this more than once, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to highlight this because, you know, we want to save someone's relationship. Last week, I think I said to you, yo, we're going to save a few marriages today. You know what I'm saying? We're going to save a few marriages, you know, but seriously, sit down with your partner, do the test, look at your love language, look at her love language, communicate with each other. Try and find that understanding in terms of, oh, I communicate like this. I'll give you an example. I like quality time.
Mm-hmm.
Not all females like, remember, with quality time might be 70% for me.
Mm-hmm.
It might be only 30% for you.
Yeah.
So I might need to spend a lot more time with you than you need to spend with me.
Yeah.
It don't mean you don't love me, and it don't mean say you have another man.
No.
But you just might need your space. But me understanding that helps me understand the relationship better.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Whereas if I don't understand that well, she's not really, you know, you can start, you know, those little weeds in your thought, those little weeds in your mind, I call them little weeds, these little thoughts, they start to grow, don't they?
They do.
And then things can get, and then you start to think, what this, what that, and then you start telling yourself stories, and then it just gets out of control. Communication, big one for me. I'm a big communicator.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that in a relationship, it's important to communicate. But it's not only important to communicate, it's important to communicate effectively.
Yes.
Effectively. Because as a man, you could be with a woman and she could be telling you the same thing for years. And I know the N word, say it, nagging, right? It can't be like, why? Oh shit, I nag me so. And all it is that she's telling you something, but it's not being reciprocated. Mm-hmm. So it feels like nagging now.
Yeah.
And it's just two people that are a message that's being communicated, but it's not getting through.
It's like that.
Yeah.
That's it. This is the language and it's hitting a brick wall.
Yeah.
But we need to come like this. Like this is how we need to, so we can hear each other. And it is about taking that time to actually listen. Actually, what are they saying?
Yeah.
See beyond what you hear as nagging, see beyond that, hear beyond that, and then start to unpick what are they actually saying. You never pick up your socks, you never do this, you never do that, you never do the other. And guys, when we're talking, we always seem to look at what's not happening rather than what is happening. But those of you who are listening on the receiving end, it's like, so what is she really saying? What is he really saying behind that?
Yeah.
And that is acts of service. Can you just pick up your things, off the floor?
Yeah.
Because it would be helpful to me. Because if you don't pick it up, that means I've got to do it because I don't like mess. Do you see that? But for mum saying, you don't pick up your shoes, your shoes is over here, your socks is over here, your drawers is over here, this is over there. You're hearing the nagging.
Yeah.
But hear beyond that. Go behind what they're saying.
Yeah.
And pick that up.
Definitely. I'm going to give the audience an example of that, right? Because I like using real life examples. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Lucia, who's just messaged saying, brilliant discussion. And guys, keep the comments coming. If you've got any questions for myself or Yvonne, send your questions in and we will endeavor to answer them. So I'm going to use myself as an example. Yeah, Ace got talk. You know, they always run jokes here and talk about, well, everyone's got a skeleton in their closet, yeah?
Or two.
Right. You know what? Open my closet in there because the skeleton's just going to fall out on me. Do you know what I mean? Only put them in there. But I'm going to use myself as examples because I think real life examples are the best ones to go by. Yeah. So I had a female friend of mine call me up during the week, right? And she got really upset with me, right? Just a friend, yeah? But she phoned me up and she was vexed. She goes to me. She goes, Ace, I'm so pissed off with you. Like, you really peed me off yesterday. You really peed me off yesterday. So I said to her, pause. How dare you accuse me of annoying you yesterday? We didn't even speak. How could I have upset you if I didn't even communicate with you? So I was so vexed. I called you up, didn't I?
Yeah.
I said, Yvonne, imagine my friend just get upset with me and I didn't even speak to her yesterday. And what did you say to me?
You were supposed to speak to her yesterday. She wanted you to speak to her.
And I went like this. Oh, So why she never just said that in the first place?
But she did, but she used a negative language,
Yeah.
thinking that you would be able to understand what she was trying to say to you.
Yeah.
And so when you said it to me, because I'm not involved, so I'm looking in from the third person, looking from the outside, quite clearly I can see, well, actually, she just wanted to hear from you. And because she didn't hear from you, she was upset with you. But you're supposed to know that.
Exactly. How much? I didn't speak to you yesterday. You're upset with me. Hi, how are you? I'm upset. Why are you upset? Because we never spoke. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's a mad one. But I think we've left the listeners we've left them in their misery
Mm-hmm.
for a long enough time, haven't we?
Yeah.
Right. And I know those that have been following us for the last week or two, they're dying to hear love language number 6.
So number 6.
Number 6.
Number 6, guys, is distance.
Woo! Woo!
Yeah.
Woo!
This one is a tough one. This one is one where you have to know who you are. You have to be so secure.
Power. That's a powerful one.
Yeah, to be with somebody whose love language is distance. Because it goes against the grain.
That's powerful.
It really does.
That's powerful. It's powerful. It's powerful. It's
Mhm.
powerful. It's powerful. And I'm getting a few flashbacks. Distance. Break it down, sister.
So distance. So imagine you are the person who is receiving love. But let's give a scenario, because I think this is quite a typical one, especially in this day and age, when people are having relationships that are broken down. They're going into second, third, big time marriages and things like that. And they're used to being on their own, right?
Brilliant.
Now, see,
brilliant.
You see, this
Brilliant.
one here, I can just make myself comfortable in the
I
chair.
think you're better, you're not,
Because this is one that I have thought about. I didn't realize it was a love language.
This is dangerous
but it's
territory.
one I thought about.
This is big. This is a big area now. Big area.
We could do 4 or 5 shows on this one.
I don't think we're gonna finish this one yet. And I want you to go into it. But something you broke. You touched on something. We talk about distance, and we're not talking about distances in long distance relationships.
No.
We're talking about people that are in committed relationships but like their distance and their space.
That's right.
And you gave a very good example when you made reference to. I'll make it in my own way, but I'll do it slightly different from how you made it. But you made reference to people that are going into their 3rd or 4th relationship, but been by themselves for a long period of time. Well, I've lived by myself. I've lived with females. I've lived with the mother of my children, etc. But I've also lived by myself. And me love my space. And as much as I love female company and I love companionship and all what goes with that, I also like my space.
Right.
Do you understand? I like my distance. I like my, and even a lot of people think I'm an extrovert, and they don't realize that on the other side.
Really?
they don't realize on the other side I'm an introvert.
Right.
As much as I can be loud and it's got talk. That's why I like to be quiet and just chill. In fact, all the way up here I meditated. It was just a quiet thing. No noise, no. So, but this distance thing, how do you be your authentic self? How do you be your authentic self, but still compromise enough to give the other person what they want when it comes to distance?
I say this. It's a hard one. It really is to find that compromise, because you have to find somebody that really is not really into quality time as deep as that. If they are, then you've got to kind of work out if those two scenarios, because they're opposites, right? So if you have quality time and you've got distance, then I would suggest, this is what I would suggest, is you come together, you talk, and you come to an agreement. This is what this means. So I can be away. For me, my ideal person really is somebody that works and has the opportunity to work away from home. That's for me. In my head, I haven't experienced this, by the way, but in my head, this would be perfect for me. Somebody that works away, but not too long, but then they come home. So I have my space, they have their space. And when they come together, then we come together. And then that's where the quality time, acts of service, all those kinds of things come together. But I think this one is one where you really have to communicate. You really, really, really have to communicate on a level.
Can I come in there? You mentioned quality time and distance not going together. I disagree with you.
Okay.
And that's okay.
That's fine.
Because you can have, remember I said quality time is not all the time. So you might see somebody only once a week. Yeah? You've got 6 days of distance and you come together on that seventh day and you have that quality time. So quality time and distance, if someone's love language is quality time and someone's love language is distance, those two things can still work very well.
They can. However, it changes when the dynamics of the relationship change. So when they are now in a partnership, when they are now living together. So we're no longer living here and living there. We've come in together. So you have to come to some kind of compromise. You really do. And understanding in that situation, because the person who needs the distance is going to, and if the person wants quality time all the time, that's going to cause the nagging situation. It's going to cause other issues within the relationship. So it is vital that they come and they talk and say, right, this is how this worked for me, and the other person say, this is how it can work for me, and get some kind of balance in the middle. I'm not saying the relationship can't work, because it can, but this takes communication and understanding, as you brought out in the beginning, as do all. But because they are kind of opposites, it's vital. If you want that relationship to work, then it is important that you start to communicate on a higher level.
Interesting. So would you care to break down the definition of distance a bit more?
So distance, yeah. So you're living with a partner, maybe, and that partner, say for instance, let's go here. Say for instance, you are with an older person and they've now gone to university. They're deciding to change their career path. And so they've got to do all these dissertations, they've got to do all this work, and you are coming in and you just want to be on them, and you want to have some fun, but they need to focus on what they're doing and they need that time. So hear the conversation, hear someone say to you, babes, would you mind going and staying with your brother for a week or two? Because you're really getting on my nerves. Because this is how we speak, guys. If we're honest, this is how we speak. So, babes, can you go and stay with your brother for a week or so? Because I need to do my work and I need to focus and this. So from the other side now, say they're saying, well, babes, I just want to spend time with you. I've missed you. You're always doing your work. You never have no time for me. These are the conversations that we have. So where we would have the compromise now, where we would talk about distance, is that person saying, babes, I really need you to go to your brother, wherever, for the week, because I have this dissertation. But once it's done, then me and you are going to do X, Y, Z, and I'm going to make this for you. I'm going to make that for you.
Can I just come in there?
Ooh.
So shout out to Lucia, who says she likes her quality time, but she also likes distance. Me too. I'm exactly like that. Love quality time, but I like my space. So I get that. And shout out to Carol Rowling joining us here, my darling. Now Carol says, she says you can live in the same house as somebody and have distance, but still have your you can live in the same house as someone but still have distance. i.e. hubby might be watching football, and she might be upstairs, watching, her box set or something. And I've seen that a lot in relationships and in marriages, that couples live in the same house, but the husband might go out and play golf with his mate. So him having, his man time, and she has her female time. I remember last week, Carol Rowling's, when we was talking about the love languages, I can't remember if it was acts of service or gifts, but Carol said that she was the lady who said they get a takeaway and then they drive home.
Oh, yes.
And they park up on the driveway, and her and her husband have that.
I think it was a different Carol, but I remember that.
Quality time.
That was good.
Yeah. So, shout out. Thanks for your interaction and your feedback. Me personally, just picking up where we left off, is I don't see distance as a bad thing. I think in order to have a healthy relationship and a balanced relationship, it needs to be a bit of both. and it's like everything, you know. If I reckon any woman, no matter, no matter how beautiful a woman is, no matter how intriguing she is, no matter how much you're into her, if you're underneath her all the time, after a while it's gonna wear a bit thin, you know. So it's kind of that enjoyment of enjoying somebody, but then kind of just being yourself as well. That kind of balance. So distance is a deep one, but I don't think it's a bad one if it's balanced right.
Absolutely, I agree with you 100%. Because like I said, for me, if I'll go to personal, then it would work quite well for me, because I'm used to doing what I do, and I live the way I've lived alone for a long time. So I'm used to my own company. I like my own company. I like to come, go as I please and do that. I love those things. So for some people, it would work really, really well. But again, remember what we talked about? We talked about communication. We talked about, you know, really understanding. And the next thing we need to remember is the mindset.
Definitely.
We have to remember that mindset and how important that is. So to have the mindset to accept that person for how they are, and that's with any relationship that we are in. The first thing we have to do is accept ourselves and the person that we are with for who we are and for who they are. It's really, really important that we do that.
Definitely. And not project yourself onto the other person. It's always about being happy and content with who you are as an individual. And that takes some time. It really does take some time. I've got a interesting piece I'm going to play on my radio show tomorrow, 1 till 4, A Scott Talk Supreme 99.8 FM. And the piece is going to be entitled How to Marry the Perfect Partner.
Okay.
Yeah. How do you marry the perfect partner? I'm going to ask you again, who is the perfect partner to marry?
Well, I think the perfect person to marry is the person who compliments you the most. And when I mean compliments, I don't mean that says, oh, you look nice. I mean actually compliments you as a person. And sometimes it's trial and error to find that person. But I think it's really important to ask the right questions when you meet the person.
I was a little bit hard on you because that was a trick question. Okay, it's a bit rhetorical, but A Scott Talk. I'm going to be covering this tomorrow. We'll pick this up in our conversations over there, because this is the love zone. It's the love zone, and it's about helping relationships, and not just people that are in relationships, that people that are not in relationships that want to get into relationships. Yes. And I've asked the question, but I'm going to give you the answer. But pause for the dramatic effect.
Yeah, I just yeah.
It's Scott Talk. Yeah, how to marry the perfect partner. The perfect person for you to marry on this earth is yourself. It's Scott Talk. Before you consider getting into a relationship with anybody else, the first person you should have a relationship with is yourself. And why you must marry yourself is because you got to marry yourself for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health. And when I'm going to elaborate on this stuff a lot more tomorrow, and we're going to pick this up over the weeks, but it's got talk, yeah? The first person you should marry is yourself, right? Shout out to Carol, who says it goes both ways. Time out is a good thing. You love each other more and learn about... Back on the screen, right? Yvonne, so just picking up on the last point I made there, loving yourself.
Yeah,
what
absolutely, you're absolutely right. It's after you said it, I thought, oh yeah, I just thought the question. I, you know, when you just hear a question and thinking, right, you know, what does a client? What would you tell a client? But actually, what you're saying is so true.
Yeah,
you are the first person.
Yeah,
in your life.
Yes.
First and foremost, and if you can't love yourself, then how is anyone else going to love, or how are you going to love anyone else? So yeah, the first person for you to have a relationship with is yourself.
Yes,
absolutely, 100%. And so once you develop that relationship, and this is what makes the relationships healthy.
Yeah,
because if you have a healthy relationship with yourself, and we're not talking about a selfish relationship here, we're talking about a full-on relationship where you know who you are grounded, and you are aware of everything. You're aware of your surroundings. You're aware of other people. So once you have that relationship and you accept yourself, there's that word again, the acceptance of yourself, then you can then start to look out on other people. And like you said, you know, for better, for worse, sickness or health, you know, till death do you part. Who do you part with? You part with yourself first, and then others later. So therefore, it is the most important relationship. So I agree.
Definitely. Shout out to Hazel Jordan, Tamaray Designs, who says Ace got talk. Shout out to Stunt Legacy, who says love yourself first. And it's very, very important, guys, that we have self-love. You know, you have to love yourself. I often talk, Ace got talk, my signature motivational pieces, Eagles and Chickens, and I talk about what happens when you look yourself in the mirror, because you've got no one else to validate your self-worth. You've got no mother, no father to validate your self-worth. You've got no friends around you to validate your self-worth and your self-esteem. You know, sometimes the people closest to us are not always the best people to raise our self-esteem. So what do we do in that situation? You've got to look yourself in the mirror. And you've got to put value on yourself. That's why it's about loving yourself. And when you love yourself and you feel 100% comfortable in your own skin, you will then find love in other people, and even getting love from other people a lot more easier. I've met so many people that they just want to be in a relationship. I just want to be in a relationship. I just want a man. I just want a man. I just want a man. And that, not being funny, but that desperation for wanting it so badly is actually pushing it away from you. And actually just relax and be happy with who you are, and just project your own happiness, and that will just draw and channel happiness towards you. So the first person you must have a relationship with is yourself.
Definitely. Absolutely.
So shout out to Parangor, who says, Yvonne, you look fabulous as always. And yes, you do, my darling.
Thank you.
Do look
Thank you very
absolutely fabulous. So I know we've got about 10 minutes left on the clock, you know. So should we tell the viewers what we got planned for the next couple of weeks? Should we just hit them up with some of the stuff? Self-worth, self-love, and self-respect. Shout out to Paragol says self-worth, self-love, and self-respect is very important. Do you want to tell the viewers about some of the other shows that we got coming up?
We can, but can I just come in with what Parry's saying about self-worth, self-love, self-respect? The self is important, and what we've been raised and how we've been raised is actually not to focus on the self. And we are very much looking for other people to give us those acclamations of, you know, we're great and we can do, and we want people to big us up. We find it very difficult to do that for ourselves. And one of the things that I teach about self-love is that yourself is important. Yourself is worthy. Yourself, you need yourself to move forward in your life. So, you know, as we're talking about love languages, let us not forget that we owe it to ourselves to know about ourselves. So go out and find out about yourself. Do the test. It will help you. And the thing about the test is you can do the test in a couple. You can do it for your family. You can do it as a single person, and you can do it as somebody that's dating. So find out, know about yourself, love yourself, respect yourself, and move forward with yourself so that you can then connect with somebody else. And as Ace says, you know, when you're too, as old time people say, when you're too licky, you see, it's not attractive. It's not attractive.
Michèle, when you're too licky, it's not attractive. So for real, shit. Right. Shout out to I think it was Panago. It flashed up quickly. The one of the comments came through. It said, shout out to I'll just read another one. Shout out to Ace and Yvonne, both looking gorgeous this Sunday. Enough love and blessings. Carol, them can look like ears in assault. Oh, up to them. Them can look like ears in assault. Look for me socks. And I made diamond socks and Versace. I was some boy I feel like it's got took, right? So look on the shoes.
Yeah.
Brilliant discussion. Oh, shout out Panda there. It's so important to get into a relationship for the right reasons, because then because then and only then we will put the work in to make it work. Absolutely, absolutely. I just want to touch on a comment that someone made previous to that. They said, when we talk about love yourself, love yourself, love yourself. One of the comments came through, said, I've heard that so many times, love yourself. But how do you love yourself? So I'm going to put a few comments in there and then you could also add to that.
Yeah.
So it's got talk. I can't speak for anybody else. I can only speak for myself. I'm an urban motivational speaker. I'm a confidence builder, and I'm an empowerer. When I talk about loving yourself, what I refer to is loving yourself unconditionally, warts and all. It's got talk. I can look you, the camera, in the eye. Look the camera in the eye. Camera of eye. I can look the camera straight in the lens with a sincere face and say, I'm not perfect, but I'm me. So when you love yourself unconditionally, and you forgive yourself for the mistakes you've made in the past. You don't, some people are carrying things, mistakes they made 20, 30 years ago, they're carrying it, Forgive yourself, yeah? Respect, Carol. So loving yourself is loving yourself unconditionally. And for me, loving yourself is not, listen carefully, not judging yourself based on the labels that society has put on you. Loving yourself is not judging yourself based on what your friends told you, this is who you are. Your family told you this is who you are. Your mother told you this is who you are. Your dad your wife told you this is who you are. That's not loving yourself. Is you deciding this is who I am, and I'm gonna own this. Because we've all been through it. We go into environments that limit our thinking and limit our potential. So loving yourself is about unstripping yourself from all those limits, yeah, and just believing that you are nothing but pure potential and you can be all you can be, and nobody on this earth can tell you any different.
Can I just come in here?
Of course you can, sweetie.
So I agree with everything that you've said. It's so important, and you made some really key points. I'd like to add, for me, that loving yourself is about accepting yourself. 100%. You accept everything about you, even down to the grey hair that comes out of your chin, like that. Right? Accepting yourself for who you are and what you have to give. Right? That's the first thing. The second thing, like you said, is forgiveness. We carry, as you said, around so much baggage. All things from the past, things that have been said, and we find it so hard to forgive ourselves. Some of us are very quick to forgive others and are so hard and damning on ourselves. But then there are others who can't forgive others and they can't forgive themselves, and they're in turmoil. So, and then the last thing is making a commitment to accepting, loving, and forgiving yourself, the commitment to who you are, the things that you're going to commit to yourself. So if the person asks, how do you learn to love yourself? How I learned to love myself. Can I just give them a tip?
Yes, of course you can.
Right. So how I learned to love myself was using mirrors. The mirror for me is very, very key. Mirrors are such a powerful tool. And so I would say that I accept myself for, and I would name all the things that I found difficult.
Absolutely brilliant.
I accept myself for this. And I talk to myself in the first person. So I say, Yvonne, I accept. And I'm looking in my own eye, because the eyes are the windows of our souls.
So, I agree.
Right? And so, Yvonne, I accept that I, blah, 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 whatever it is. Then I'd move on to the next. Yvonne, I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you for this. I forgive you for that. I forgive you for saying this. I forgive you for saying that you are fat. I forgive you for saying that you will never amount to anything, because these are the things that we say. These are, oh God, I forgive myself for saying that you're ugly. Again, these are the things that people say to themselves. And then the last thing, I commit. I commit to building myself up. I commit to loving myself. I commit to embracing who I am. I commit, and you go on and on. And I normally say, do 7 of each of those, once in the morning, once in the night. And you do it until it becomes a habit. You do it religiously. And after a while, that awkwardness of seeing yourself in the mirror, the awkwardness of having that conversation with yourself becomes so natural that you start to build yourself up. So as we were talking about earlier about people that need people to affirm them, actually you learn to affirm yourself. You give yourself power. You take back the power that you were born with, that you left in the bag over in the corner and walked off and left. It actually allows you to go back to that moment of, because sometimes we have to ask ourselves, when did I start saying that about myself? Go back to that moment. Go back to that moment, pick up that bag, pick up that light and change that story and start to say, actually, I'm worthy. I'm more than enough. I'm more than good enough. I'm all of that and a bag of chips. There's nobody like you. You are unique. You are a unique creation. There is no one, even if you're a twin, there is nobody the same, exactly the same, that talks, walks, sounds, that does all these things exactly the same as you. So we have to start embracing that. And that's how you start to learn to love yourself.
Brilliant. It's going to come in there. Thank you for all the comments that are coming in on the screen. I see them flashing through, and I'm going to try and touch on a few of them. But one of the key threads that I keep seeing popping up through the comments is investment in yourself.
Yes.
And it goes, sorry, the word that I said, investment in yourself, it actually comes in the same sentence as loving yourself. So I keep seeing these, loving yourself means investment, loving yourself. And I would agree 100%. It's about investing in yourself. And how do you do that? You do it in various ways. You do it mentally, you do it spiritually, and you also do it physically. So even down to something like just taking the time out to go to the gym. It's a form of loving yourself. I'm exercising, I'm looking after my body, I'm taking good care of myself. Loving yourself can just be about even just the food that you put into your system and say, I'm not going to have that burger and chips, I'm going to have something a bit more healthy. So it's just about taking pride in everything that you do, and even just investing in yourself. Loving yourself might be saying, you know what? I worked hard all month. I'm going to book myself in for a massage. I deserve that. I'm going to spend 45 minutes. I'm just going to lie down and get a full time massage. Whatever it means to you, but it's about taking that time out. Like for somebody, it might be treating themselves after a long day to a nice cold beer. And say, I've had a hard day. I've worked hard. I've earned me money. I'm going to treat myself to a beer. Some people, it might be that bar of chocolate. But it's about taking pride in yourself, and enjoying being on this planet, so to speak. Yvonne,
giving back to yourself, I think, is because we have investment, and that's key, because I think that personal development is very much about the investment that you make in yourself. And so I agree with everything that has been said today, especially when it comes to self-love. I think we can give ourselves these things. We can do these things for ourselves, but I think we have to go deeper than, like you was talking about the beer and you doing all these things and the massage and stuff like that. Yes, because these are things that make us feel good.
Yeah.
But we need things that make us think good.
Brilliant. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And because the battleground is not outside of us. It's here. It's in our minds. So if we think we are, then we are.
Definitely.
And if we think we're not, then we're not. So it's about engagement here personally. So how do you think about yourself? What are the things that you say to yourself when you're with yourself, by yourself, and there's no one else around? What are the types of things that you're saying? This is where you start to realize what self-care, what self-love looks like.
Yeah.
Because it's by what you say.
Yeah.
You see this mount? Death and life is in the power of it.
Yeah, 100%.
It's in the power of it.
100%.
So it's not so much about what people say about you, it's about what you say about yourself.
100%. And I've got a saying, and it goes like this. It says, what other people think and say about you is none of your business. It's got talk. I'll say it again. And this is all about self-love. What other people think and say about you is none of your business. All that is important is what you think and say about yourself. So it goes exactly in hand with what you're saying, because I tell myself every day, hey, Scott Talk, I'm a king.
Come on now.
I'm a king.
Come on now.
You know, and nobody can't take that title from me. And every other title that I give myself, nobody can't take that. The only person that could take that title from myself is me. I said it, hey, Scott Talk, I'm an urban motivational legend. Nobody can't tell me no different. I'm me, Cesar. You understand? Right. And it's about owning it. I'm feeling comfortable with it. Yeah, I'm being comfortable in your skin and earning it. Saying, I mean this.
Walking it.
You know what I mean? Hey, Scott Talk, I'm the baddest. I told him from a long time, the baddest TV presenter, yeah, in the UK. I just see the baddest female co-hostessa, you know, right. And we're calling that into existence. You
Absolutely.
Understand? And we're owning that.
Listen me.
And the only body that can take that off us is ourselves. Nobody can't take that title.
No one.
Because that's why if I let what other people say and think about me concern me, oh my God, do you know where I'd be?
Yeah.
Do you understand? Oh, he said that. Oh, do you think that of me? Oh, is that what you think about me? These are what people, their words can have you just there. Something they've said to you. So you have to go above that.
You have to fly above the sky, fly above the clouds, fly above it. And remember this is the month of May.
Definitely.
Right? This is the month of multiple manifestation. So the reason why I'm saying this is this, because Ace has just spoken a thing and said, I am a king. That's what you said.
Yep.
So I want to challenge those who are listening today. What are you saying about, what can you say about yourself that you manifest for yourself?
Brilliant.
Because the kingdom is here. The kingdom has come.
The kingdom has come.
Amen.
Amen.
And so it is. The kingdom has come. So Ace has been speaking this. It's manifesting. This is a whole manifestation right here.
Straight.
Right?
Straight.
Because I spoke this 3 days before you contacted me to be a guest on your show.
Yeah.
And then we did 3 days of interviews.
Yeah.
And then on the third day, as it rise up, we then started to discuss doing this show. So now this is a manifestation of something that was spoken. You spoke it in your area, unbeknown to me. We didn't know each other, and I spoke it. And then the universe just intertwine, and now we're here. So I'm saying to you guys, what are you prepared to manifest? What can you speak over yourself as a challenge before we come back for next week? Because next week I want to see on the screen, I manifested this, I manifested that, I want to hear what you're doing. You know, yes, we're talking about relationships. Yes, we're talking about life. We're talking about love. What do you want to manifest? Do you want to manifest a partner? Manifest it.
Straight. And this stuff, we will, if you want to ask questions, I'm happy to answer all your questions. You could drop me an email, info@realtalkradio.co.uk. But this stuff is powerful when we start to go into manifestation and the power of your words and the power of manifestation. It's got to, believe it or not, like the sister said, me sitting here on this show is a manifestation. You know, I started up an Instagram a year ago, and I put on my Instagram a Scott Talk TV presenter. And people, I was waiting for someone to say, you ain't done no TV, you ain't no TV presenter. Brother, I put it into the universe, and anything I speak will come to pass.
Absolutely.
So it's very powerful. So I love the fact that the sisters invited you today. She said, Ace said he's a king. What are you going to say about yourself? You know, because whatever you say, if you say it with enough conviction, enough belief, you can manifest it.
You can.
Shout out to Carol, who says, yes, big man, big up yourself, own it. It's all about ownership. And I just want to put this out there. It's not an arrogant thing, and it's not sometimes people can mistake confidence for arrogance. And by no stretch of blessed is the humble, for they shall inherit the earth.
Amen.
But amen. So by no stretch of the imagination am I saying that people should be arrogant. But if you are Usain Bolt and you know you're the fastest man in the world, you're the fastest man in the world. When you line up on the start line, you're not going, you know, I think I can win. You have to own it. I'm the fastest man in the world, and I'm going to beat these guys. So it's the only way we're going to move forward, you know, because sometimes we can be a bit shaky. You know, it's like we don't want to be too proud. But I think it's about being proud and saying, you know what, I mean this, and I'm going to walk in my skin.
Yeah.
Over to you, sister.
Yeah, I think it's not. I don't think it's about pride. I think it's about just knowing. Knowing who you are.
Yeah.
And you know, knowing who you are, but also knowing whose you are. right? And I'm not talking about your parents, your siblings. It's knowing whose you are. You are a great being on this earth from a created source.
Yeah.
You are a creator too. Own that. We've been taught so much to suppress a lot of things. And this is why we have so much issues in relationships. We're too scared to speak and say who we are, what we want. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What our love language is.
Yeah.
We're too scared to say that. We've got to own it.
Yeah.
If we can own our love language, we've got to own who we are.
Definitely.
We're going to own who we are. We've got to own what we do. And it goes on and on and on and on. So it is about us, the whole thing. It's the encompassed conversation that we're having. Love languages, you know, who we are. It all kind of comes together. But the one thing I'm going to say about love is that there must be boundaries.
100%.
There must be boundaries. And when you are in love and you set no boundaries, that's when you get multiple issues. Boundaries are very, very important. It's not a love language, but it's part of every love language. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So it's not a love language as in like affirmations and touch and all of that, but it's part of each and every one of those love languages. So it's very, very important, vital that you understand how to set boundaries in a loving way.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Shout out to Ruth. Think it, say it, and believe it. Yeah. Shout out to Ruth Carter, the Liberty Coach. Guys, thanks for all your comments. If you guys got any questions that you want to drop, send to me and Michelle. Just drop us a text at info@realtalkradio.co.uk. As of next week, we'll have the MediaNet Live official info at email address for you guys to send in all your comments. And, you know, if you've got any questions for us, if you want to tell us your love language, or, you know, say, well, actually, you've covered 6, but there's a 7th one. Tell us. I'm really interested, the guys and the girls. You know, there might be a 7th language that you might want to add and say, well, I think this is the 7th one. And we'll actually read those out and we can open up the discussions of those. Sister, do you want to? So we're going to tell the listeners what we got. We got some really exciting things planned on the relationship Love Zone show. Do you want to tell the listeners some of the stuff we've got planned for the next couple of weeks?
I don't want to go too deep into it, but what I will say is that we'll be having a studio guest in a couple of weeks' time. They'll be gracing us with their presence, and I'm really excited about this guest. Now, we know that we've got social distancing, so we've got this going on in the studio.
She's beating around the bush. I'm just going to come out and say, yeah, we're going to have a sex dolly in the studio, yeah? And she's got the male one. It was one of her mates that lent it to us, right? It was your mate who lent it, isn't it? One of her mates, right? Said, oh, I've got one in my closet. Talk about A7 skeletons in his closet. These women, they've all got sex dollies in there, the full blow-up ones, you know what I mean? So we're going to have a dolly in there, and then we're going to be talking about it because, as Yvonne mentioned last week, did you know that the sale of sex toys has gone up by 70% since this lockdown? Yeah. So somebody must be buying the toys, right? And don't make out like I'm not you, right? So we're going to be talking. We've got so many top topics we're going to be covering, but one of them is we are going to be talking about blow up dolls. We are going to be talking about toys. We're going to be talking about fetishes, bondage, threesomes. We're even going to start. So we're going to have a lot. We're going to talk about mixed relationships,
blended families. You know, lots and lots of different. We're covering a range of topics in relationships, because relationships is such a broad subject. So we want to bring it to you and we want to discuss it and see how you feel about it.
See how you feel. So we're gonna, you know, we started with the love languages, so we got the basics of communication, and then we're going to open that up. We're even going to talk about absent fathers, single parents, except the whole kit and caboodle. And if there's anything you want us to talk about, any topic, you say, Ace, Yvonne, we want you guys to touch on this topic. What do you think? Drop us a line. You know, we're here to stay. We're in this for the long run. Ace got talk. And Yvonne, Michèle, TV will never be the same again. Sister, do you want to just lead us out? Yeah, summarize and lead us out.
I hope that you've enjoyed the show today. If you have any questions, comments, please do remember the email address. It's
info@realtalkradio.co.uk. Just drop us an email. Yeah, that's one more time. That's info@realtalkradio.co.uk. Real talk, because that's what we are doing around here. Real talk, we are getting the people that want to them. Info at realtalkradio.co.uk. And you can join us back here next week, 12 o'clock every week. We will be streaming from MediaNet Live TV on YouTube. You can also find us on MediaNet Live TV on Facebook. And you can also find them on Instagram, which is MediaNet Live TV. You can also follow myself, A Scott Talk, on YouTube, A Scott Talk, and on Instagram, A Scott Talk. And yourself?
You can also follow me on Facebook, Yvonne Michèle, and also Instagram at Yvonne Michèle. And you can contact me on my website. That's www.yvonnemichelle.com. We're all over social media, so do feel free to contact us with your questions, your comments. I want to thank you for joining us. I want to thank you for your support and your love. Do remember to share this with your friends, your community, and your family. Share, share, share. Get the word out. Let's get talking. Let's get people involved, and let's get moving in our relationships.
So just before, one more comment out there. So we need to start with the truth and honestly in black relationships. Yeah, well done, Yvonne, and Ace, brilliant show. So I think once we start talking about relationships, we're going to open up a lot of of words. So keep the comments coming in. And until next week, stay blessed, guys. Have a good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. Salute.
Ciao for now.